All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless me here talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. And when I say a few, folks, first thing I could just say here is please watch the videos. Uh, I ask people to sign up for Patreon and for YouTube memberships because things are just they're go- I know it's January, and historically, January is a bad month for YouTube. We are heading into an election year, but they've just really turned the income off because I go up 10,000 views and I drop $100. So I don't know what's going on here. And so if you can help out, and people have been stepping up, people are still watching, but I need more than 700 or 800 views on a video. I've got 75,000 plus subscribers, and it's sad. So if you can remember to watch the videos, that's important at the very least. I'm going to be talking about the Who again because Roger Daltrey, has really put the nails in the coffin of one of the greatest British rock bands of all time. Speaking of British rock bands, check out FM if you have a chance. This is their album 13. The great Steve Overland is in this band. Steve also has a new album out called Six, because I believe it's the sixth album in the series of Overland records. But you can kind of bank on this music. It's just terrific, well put together, great songwriting, great playing, very listenable. AOR rock, whatever you want to call it. Steve Overland also a part of the Lone Rider projects that I have been suggesting people listen to as well. Just fantastic British-based rock. And yeah, the British Invasion, The Who, one of the greatest rock bands of all time. Honest to goodness, I know some people will disagree with me. I'd rather listen to The Who than Led Zeppelin any day of the week. I would rather listen to The Who than the Rolling Stones. That's how much I like The Who. If you watch anything that Jerry Bruckheimer does, the TV producer, whether it's Miami CIS or any of those shows that have been on TV for the last 20 or 30 years, you're probably going to hear a Who song like Who Are You or Won't Get Fooled Again. And that has introduced a whole new generation of folks to some of the greatest rock music that's ever been made. Whether you believe Pete Townsend or not, as far as his little issue from 20 something years ago, someone sent me a couple of links saying, look, they didn't find anything on Pete's computer, yada, yada. So, grace, I guess, with Pete Townsend. It's still not a bright idea to give your credit card to a kitty what site. You know what I mean? Or if it wasn't for that, it even doing that as a celebrity, as a public figure, you think if you were going to cover your tracks. So a lot of people say, yeah, he wouldn't have been that stupid, Dave. So it probably was a mistake that he made that he shouldn't have done. I've read a couple of things that are pretty convincing about it, but it's still out there. And some people just don't believe what Pete has to say about that topic. But moving on to what Roger Daltrey said, he recently spoke about The Who's future following Pete Townsend's comments about possibly ending the band after their orchestral tour. Daltrey, similar to Townsend, isn't sure what's next for the band and is ready to leave the stage. He says, I'm happy saying that part of my life is over. Now, supposedly, they're going to sit down and have a meeting, and they're going to discuss, what the Who should be, what's their direction. This is what Townsend said. I think it's time for Roger and I to go to lunch and have a chat about what happens next. He says, because Sandringham shouldn't feel like the end of anything, but it feels like the end of an era. He added, it's a question of really what is feasible, what would be lucrative, what would be fun. So I wrote to Roger and said, come on, let's have a chat and see what's there. So, it sounds like Pete wants to keep going. Sounds like he had a good time. Initially, he said early on that he wasn't sure about touring anymore. The band's 2019 album called Who, by the way, if you're a marketing person, don't call your album Who. Just it's The Who, right? And then find a title, find something catchy. Face Dances, Part 9. I don't know, but something that people might remember. The music on the album was very good, especially like the first 6 or 7 tracks. I think toward the end, it started to get a little tedious, and it didn't, it wasn't cohesive, but there were several really great songs on that album, and people just missed it. And so you're an older band, you put out this album, doesn't get a lot of traction. You go out on tour and you're playing all the classics. You've got this orchestra along for the ride, which was a great idea. More and more bands are doing this stuff. Roger Daltrey can still sing. It's fairly amazing. I mean, he's not 1975 Roger Daltrey, but it doesn't matter. He's really good still, and I don't say that a lot with regards to older guys, right? Older guys really struggle out there, especially when you've got a lot of screaming to do. And in this case, the Who recorded a lot of music that was very difficult to do when they got older, much like Led Zeppelin, unlike the Rolling Stones, who never really did that kind of stuff. And that's why, they're in their 80s and they can just go out there and perform like it was 1972, But yeah, this is sad. The bottom line here is that this is such a great band. And, I think they fell out of favor with a lot of record label types for whatever reason sooner than other bands did. Like you'll still hear Led Zeppelin songs on these so-called mainstream rock stations. You won't ever hear anything by The Who. And I'm not sure why, because a lot of their stuff is more muscular than the Zeppelin stuff. And it's very listenable. And the guitar parts are very unique. Pete Townsend, one of the great guitar players of all time. He is that good. And this band definitely, I don't know, it just went away too fast. There are certain bands that have longevity, like the Kinks. They went away way too fast. But Led Zeppelin, sure, they're still around as far as radio airplay. Even bands like Black Sabbath get airplay on these stations because of the darkness, because of the Aussie factor, and just in general, the image is more important than the music in some cases. But yeah, it's just ridiculous that the Who is kind of just going away. And hopefully these guys will sit down and have lunch and say, you know what, maybe we should go out on tour again. Maybe we should create some music. Why not? While you can still sing, because Roger Daltrey said that his voice is probably going to give out within the next 5 years. So they've got time before Roger can't sing anymore. And Roger said, look, you got to use it or you're going to lose it. He said that several years ago when the Who were making a comeback for their album, Who. And he's right. I think as the tour went on, his voice actually got better. So in any event, folks, great British rock band. It's sad that this is probably the end of the Who, but it just keeps happening. If you're a classic rock fan, you don't have that much to look forward to. And then, you can listen to these people who are redefining classic rock and telling you that this band over here is classic rock, like the Foo Fighters. Sorry, the Foo Fighters are not classic rock. Not even close. I mean, come on, people. This is classic rock, but it's not going to get any attention or airplay. This is 13 by the band FM. And Steve Overland, who is a great singer in the Paul Rodgers tradition. He's kind of like a cross between Paul Rodgers and Michael Bolton, of all people. But man, can this guy sing. And you should check out anything he does. It's quality. It's listenable from start to finish. And if you get bored listening to the same old stuff all the time, there's a few suggestions. You could see some of those behind me as I continue to promote the new stuff for 2024. All right, folks. Again, thanks for watching. And like I've been saying, I need your help. Patreon, YouTube memberships. This is very discouraging and depressing. The lowest income I've seen since 2017. In the very early days of this channel, where I was building up, I probably had about 10,000 subscribers at that point. Now I have 75,000. So again, it was good for a while, but I'm relying on you guys to just keep this going. And I need your support, $1, $2, whatever you can afford. I've got a lot of $5 donations, inflation. But yeah, if 1/3 of we'll even say 1/10 of the number of subscribers got on board for $1 a month, I wouldn't bother anybody. That would be a really decent income. And, this is going to be the way forward. There's no other way for this channel at this stage. So again, thanks for watching. God bless you all, and I will see you soon.